y'all doing over there? This is why don't you state your names?
I'm Vin.
I'm Chris.
And you're from the group?
Headstrong.
And first question I'd like to ask y'all was how did the group get started?
Well, I was in another band at the time, but I wanted to start a new project with a bass player who I had met down here, whose name I guess is irrelevant, but Chris got kicked out of his band at the time.
Shall remain nameless.
And he said he would play for us. Now we went through like about 5 different bass players before we found the guy who's playing with us now. Ed.
That's Ed, but he's not here.
Yeah, 3 of the members of the band aren't here right now actually. That's Frank who sings, and Ed who plays bass, and Paul who plays guitar also.
Okay, and you play guitar?
Yeah.
And
I play drums.
You play drums.
That's me.
Where y'all both from?
I'm originally from Nutley, but I'm living in New Brunswick now because I go to school at Rutgers.
Yeah. Majoring in what?
Philosophy.
Philosophy. What about you, Chris?
I'm a New Brunswick local. I come from the area, and I finished school. I got a philosophy degree.
That's actually how we first met. We were in a philosophy class together.
Cool. Let me see, what else? Ah, yes.
Going well, man?
Go. Let me see. Let me ask, what other things were you in prior to Headstrong? What other things were you doing? Let's start with you, Chris.
Well, before I did it, I was in Headstrong. First, I was in PED for a few years. Hey, you, get out of there. I was in PED for a few years with about 400 different members.
400 different members?
Yeah, the only consistent members were pretty much me and Sam. Sam is running the record label
Sam
now.
Schiffman?
Yeah, he's running Complex Records. After that, guy from PED, Pete Horvath, and I started a band called Separate Peace, which I was in for a while, and then now I'm doing Headstrong.
I'm doing Headstrong. Who else was in PED?
We had an illustrious cast. We had a bunch of local guys, most of whom moved for greener pastures. There was Quentin Flory, he played bass for a while, he played guitar for a while. We had a guy named Toby Record, we had the infamous John Terry.
The infamous John Terry.
John is truly infamous.
I know Peter Ventonio and Paul Decolated played.
Yeah, they were all one-time members. Who else?
Who are currently with Sticks and Stones and Loose, respectively.
Yeah. Pretty much anybody who's in a band in the area from New Brunswick has played with us at one time or another. We've gone through many people, and well, we broke up, but yeah, we had about 15, 16 members all told. I guess, doing like one-night things or whatever. So there was a lot of people.
And what about you, Vin? What other stuff was you in?
I was in a couple bands from Nutley because that's where I'm from. So with Frank, who sings with us now, I was in a band called the Angry Fat Artichokes in high school with him, and that was just a joke. We played like.
Where did you get that name?
But that eventually turned into a band called Bulwark.
Yes.
And we had only played around here for like maybe about a year or so. That was me, Frank, and a guy, Brett, who has moved to the West Coast, and a guy, Tim, who just went crazy. So that's...
Tim who just went crazy?
He's one of the main reasons why we stopped playing. So, and then when I came to school here, well, actually, Bulwark did exist while I was in school down here. I met like a lot of different musicians. So when Bulwark broke up, it wasn't hard to find like other people to play with.
And so I guess after this came Headstrong, and y'all started playing here about. I would say y'all celebrating your year anniversaries or already did. Yeah. When your first gig, where was that at?
Something different.
Something different.
In Montclair.
In Montclair.
How did cafe place?
How did that go off?
Not too badly. We only had one. Vin was the only guitar player then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul was a late addition. he joined the band about what, 3 or 4 months after we had.
Yeah, I don't know. We've been playing for like four months.
Yeah, before he started playing with us. So we did a bunch of shows without him, and then since then.
Yeah, Frank was telling me last time I had interviewed somebody from the group that people like groups like the Bouncing Souls, they helped out with y'all around here in the area, helped you get a lot of gigs.
Yeah, definitely.
Cause I noticed, at the time it was like November, and y'all been together for about 5 months, and I noticed how large a following y'all gotten since then. First time I heard of y'all was back in, I believe it was somewhere around May when y'all played with I think with the Souls and Super Touch and Things Got Stupid when one of the guys from Vision.
That was
big fight.
That was in the Douglas Student Center.
And he was telling me that y'all because of them y'all got hooked up to places like the Roxy and the Court. Did y'all play the Court Tavern? Y'all must have by now.
No.
The Bouncing Souls helped us get our first show in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
That was
There was a show at the Roxy where Lucy Brown was on their way to the show, and like their van broke down, and they didn't have another band, so they called us up and we played. Like
went really well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other bands in there. I mean, talk about groups that have been hitting big around there, because I noticed that it seems like the hardcore sect, which first of all, what would you consider your music? I don't like to ask this of musicians, but what would you like to say about you? I mean, what do you think is?
I guess the bottom line is it's punk rock.
No, well, I don't like to. We get classified as like hardcore and stuff most of the time.
We're not necessarily a hardcore band.
Yeah, I don't like.
We're not
that kind of.
We're not into the formula thing. We don't play by set formulas.
Whatever sounds good.
See, I always say that about my music, because when folks, I got a standard answer whenever they say ask me what kind of music I play. I just say good music.
That's
an old narrow opinion.
Hey, I'm proud of my shit. So.
Yeah, it's not just straightforward, you know. It's too easy to play straightforward hardcore. It's just no challenge at all. So,
Do you think you have a pretty much there is a pretty a large underground sect that seemed to like move from New York and from the CB days and just came down to Brunswick all of a sudden?
New Brunswick's always been a center just because we're right between Philadelphia and New York. I've been living here for years, obviously, and there have always been good shows down here because we're just centrally located. Big door.
Let me guess. It's Pete.
No.
I thought you saw somebody.
It's a phantom of the house.
All right, now let me see now. Oh yeah, getting back to the original question. Groups in the area. In the time that you've been around, what did you think of many of the groups that are here, like that base themselves in Brunswick, like Lucy Brown or Loose or Bouncing Souls, Blisters, whatever? And the one that everybody hates, good old John Terry.
Hey, John Terry is a longtime friend of mine. And,
everybody seems to be getting upset about him. I haven't had a problem with him personally, but
he's become really good.
He's a damn good guitarist. That's one thing.
Yeah, we actually wanted him to play with us, and he played like with us for like about 2 weeks or so. And
just didn't work out. He just wasn't into it enough to come down and do it on like a full-time thing.
It's kind of sad.
Hey.
But John's a nice guy. His brother's a little strange. but Matt's a good guy too. You know, I don't know why people have a problem with John. You know, if you know John, then.
If I know John, I know John. He's a total nut. John. That's one thing for sure.
He's unique, and I think that's good.
He was the one that turned me on to damn Mr. Bungle.
Yeah, he's definitely on the cutting edge of new music. If you want to know the new scene in music, John definitely knows it.
So well, I don't think it's a good idea to ask the question about what bands it was, because you're gonna come up with they suck. This band sucking there.
Well, I don't know. There are a lot of bands in the area, and I don't know. No one's really doing the same thing. You know, no two bands in the area are doing the same thing. And I think everybody's got their own thing. And
like where you do your thing, Bouncing Souls does theirs, Green Line Burning does theirs, and so on.
there's a lot of music in New Brunswick, and I think for the most part it's almost all good.
That's why it's good to be here if you're in the band.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of, not only that, there's good musicians, but there's a lot of people out here trying to get into the other side of business, like we talked about Sam Schiffman from Complex Records.
Yeah.
Have any of y'all considered doing anything like that?
Well, I helped Sam in the past. When we were in PE together, we put out a bunch of records by ourselves.
On what label?
We just did it ourselves. It wasn't even like a label per se, as much as we put out our own records.
So it's pretty much assumed they're out of print.
But yeah, they were limited run kind of things. But I don't know. I think that Sam, hopefully he'll be a success because he definitely deserves it. He's been busting his ass, and I don't know. We're probably gonna do a single with him fairly soon, as soon as we get to the studio. And it's probably
Single? Oh, you mean a Headstrong single?
Yeah, probably 4 songs. It's all I've already been discussing it with him for a while. So.
Have you had any other singles out? I know you had Static with Searching Illinois, but is there anything else?
That's the only vinyl that we put out. We had the cassette that we did, which we're not doing anymore.
Yeah.
It's just no more copies that are being given away due to the lack of sound quality.
And that's why.
But I don't know. Now,
So,
at this point, the only vinyl that looks up to be upcoming is the 7-inch, which is planned but not done yet.
Yeah, we don't have the money to record even yet, so.
oh well.
We're
Hey,
getting there.
they call that recession. Let me see.
We're gonna have to rob a bank or something, start selling crack on the corner.
Nah, let's not do this the hard way. The easy way is sometimes the sleazy way. Don't play like that. Let me see. Well, let's talk about some of the gigs that y'all played. We talked about your first gig, and I'll throw one at you. What do you think was probably your best gig?
That's a good question.
Both of y'all probably have different.
City Garden show was good. That was a good show.
That was okay.
It was a tight show. We were playing to a new crowd, so they weren't quite as hip on what was going on as we had hoped they would be. But
It was good that there was a lot of people there, I think.
yeah,
Could have been better because we could have played better, I think.
Who'd you play there with?
it was Lucy
Bouncing
Brown
Souls. Bouncing Souls, Lucy Brown,
and
Bigger Thomas.
Bigger Thomas.
Big Tom. Oh yeah. Okay, I remember that show. Now, what do you think was probably your worst gig?
Question.
We played up at a youth group.
Oh yeah.
In
The second time.
Yeah.
We played in a youth center, and there were like 12 people there, and they were there for some school dance. They were completely shocked.
Yeah, evidently they thought a DJ was going to be there to play some Vanilla Ice, and we showed up.
It's a good thing you mentioned Vanilla Ice, because I want to ask you about this stunt that you like to pull up on stage. Who gave you this idea?
Well, I don't know. I just think it's better that you move around on stage when you play, because people come out to see a live band to see some action. It's not just to hear the music. So I don't know. I'm a Devo fan, and so is Frank. So they used to do a lot of synchronized dancing and stuff, and that's where we got that from. And we used to do it in Bulwark also.
Yeah, you're a Devo fan.
Plus, Ed looks a lot like Vanilla Ice.
I don't think he'll like you saying that.
Doesn't matter what he
Well,
thinks. He's not here.
But he's gonna be on TV. He's gonna see this on TV. He's gonna come back after you.
Ed probably doesn't even know this is going on right now.
So.
He will.
It'll be a big surprise.
He will.
Ed doesn't know a lot of things that are going on.
But yeah, our next big dance step is going to be the MC Hammer shuffle step. I don't know if anybody's got pants big enough yet though, so we're gonna have to work on that.
Oh, that's no problem.